Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, and welcome to the DRC Season 9 stream, powered by Milestone, for Tier 1 stream for Round 2 of the Belgium Grand Prix around Circuit Spa Frank Champs. Not going to try and pronounce that again, we're just going to call it Spa and keep it nice and simple. It's possibly the longest track on the calendar while I get everything up and ready for us here. Yeah, that's all correct. And we've got some drivers already on track. Ferrari leaving up ahead, along with a McLaren as well. McLaren having the mixed results in Tier 2, but Yoinks will be the first person out on track. It's the longest track, of course, on the calendar, 7 kilometers long, almost exactly, 19 turns, and a track that has a weather climate all of its own. I realise as well, we're currently running an ad break. At least we've got one man out the way before qualifying really kicks in. And welcome back to anyone tuning in. Apparently the ads are over. You only missed me rambling about the circuit itself. Well, that's a horrible camera angle. We'll see if we can fix that very quickly. I don't think we can, actually, not in spectator. No, normally it's in its own setting. Unfortunately, we'll have to live with this. Normally have a fancy one up at home. Well, who is first one up ahead? It's Mercedes, and I think it's going to be the Mercedes of Deathlink, who's the first to charge down this circuit. A very interesting way to take your outlap. If you take it too aggressive, you can find yourself burning through the tyres, having quite a few percentage of tyre wear before you can get to the start-finish straight of course. DRS zones, a couple of them. We've got one on the pit straight and then one down the back up Eau Rouge on the back straight to help drivers with overtaking during the race, but high power, low downforce track. But interesting with the setup of these cars with ground effects, Sector 2, you can't lose too much downforce, otherwise you just lose too much time through there. Deathlink in his Mercedes will be starting the lap, letting down the benchmark for everyone else to follow through. DRS wide open down to turn 1. Braking nice and heavy, tight to the apex, trying to spend as little time through there as possible. And we're just going to see what looks like the Alpine getting out of the way, maybe kissing the wall slightly as Deathlink navigates Radion on a Rouge here into the back straight with the DRS wing now open on that Mercedes. heavy braking zone here, but don't want to lose too much speed. You try to kiss each of these curves, carrying the vehicle round to the right hand. Now halfway into sector 2, of course, where it's really technical, easy to lose so much time, especially if you haven't got the downforce on the car, where you don't want to lose it all during the race and all down the back straights. But he has kept it nice and tidy within track limits, so I can't imagine this being too much of a bad lap here by Definitely, especially before the track grips up more. And you see some of the marbles as well through the long left-hander there, something to avoid, which affects just how much grip you can actually get, especially before the track ramps up. Looks like a sunny day around Spa as well, so I can't imagine seeing too much rain for the end of qualifying, but we won't know about the race. Of course, this is only qualifying, as now the final straight all the way down to the bus stop chicane, and we'll see what lap Definitely has put down as a marker, as a benchmark for the rest of the grid to follow. Dropping down a gear and then nice and early on the throttle to the line, and Definitely sets a 42.7. I think we have a Ferrari. Is it going to be Pockets? It is not Pockets. It's someone I've put right on board with Pockets. I think the other Ferrari is actually pitting, so Pockets will be next to cross the line after the Aston Martin. Fawaz does a 43.1 and Pockets does a 43.18. Third place for himself. We have some McLarens to the line. Yoink's going to set a 42.9 with AIM as well following to the line. And he takes provisional pole, 42.5, 2/10 on Deflink. Not a bad lap there at all. And Penguin joins the party with a 43. Is that Kiko to the line? Kiko gets pole, provisional 42.0. Lots of drivers, I think, set their laps out provisionally. I don't know if they're aware about something to do with the weather. And everyone's just saying faster laps now. Trying to ride and find someone to watch. But we're just watching everyone take the bus stop chicane and everyone finally setting times. And Matthias, Red Bull pairing 2 and 3. Very decent laps from themselves. But people on, we do have people on out laps. RD Gamer, of course, halfway around. And we do actually have Sir Burge starting his lap, so I'll ride on board with him as he starts his lap around the 7-kilometer power circuit of Spa. Little bit of a grip loss on exit there for the Alfa Romeo. We'll see. We'll get nice on board. You can see the terrain elevation changes through there. As now we'll see the rear wing open on this Alfa Romeo. All the way down the vehicle redlining. 211, 212 mile per hour into the chicane that begins sector 2. Yellow's up ahead for him. I can imagine the vehicle's getting out the way. Cars trying to sort themselves out on a track, of course. Long right-hander carrying the car through here. A little bit wide. Hopefully didn't lose too much time. But he has kept it within track limits just twice over there. Very, very teasing the edge of the track limits. Of course, the white lines, not to be mistaken with the curves. You can see the white line does extend by about half a meter, but definitely a good several inches onto the track. So you can try and take the curve as much as you want, but it's very easy to then invalidate. Sending it round sector 2 into the final couple of corners before starting the back straight here. And it's all about the exit, all about how much speed you can carry through. He might even get a helping hand from the Alpine up ahead. How much slipstream can he carry? It's too far ahead to probably help him through here. Hopefully it won't hold him up. It won't. Into the bus stop chicane. Sending the car right and to the left. The power down. Wing is open. And it's good enough for 8th. Not a bad lap at all by him there. And the Red Bulls are boxing. Don't believe they are doing multiple runs. Very impressive laps by them. But drivers will be starting their laps. I think we might even have some people on a flying lap. RD Gamer was on an out lap, so he's now, I believe, might be the first one of this pack here behind him to be doing his lap. So we'll see what RD Gamer can do. Yet to set a time. While he is there in 15th, I think we do actually have a Ferrari first. It's Yuno who's on his outlap, his pockets on a flying lap. Just in the Batu's reign, he is a Ferrari into the chicane. What can he do? He can pit, is what he can do. But let's go back to RD Gamer then. The Williams. Let's see what time he can set. He hasn't invalidated, so he will be banking this lap. He will be taking it to the flag. And that is an impressive 6th place by RD Gamer. I think AIM is going again. It blinked and I didn't see if he improved or not. McLaren running 6th and 11th. Nonetheless, very impressive, of course, by them. And I think, you know, of course, flying through on it. Oh, okay. We're trying to navigate through there, but I think there's an issue while people were in the pits. I think AIM actually is going again. Ah, very clever. Just seen from the McLarens. AIM is now... Oh, he's doing it. He's flying in. Bit rude, unless they're swapping places. AIM could tow. Yoinks, but... doesn't quite line up, unfortunately, for them. Drivers getting ready now for their laps, but Yuno has started his in the Ferrari, yet to set a time. Looks like a smart enough exit out of turn 1, but who is going to be setting a time? It's MKL, 17th, of course, but yeah, he hasn't actually got a time on the board, so we'll see what he can do. Your winner last time out at Australia. And he takes provisional pole, 41.5 with 8 minutes left in the session. Can anyone respond? Calces to the chicane. He has invalidated, so he will be pitting. He didn't have enough to go again. Jagu hasn't. Jagu can keep going. Maybe got a slipstream down into there. That might help him. What's he got in his locker? He's got a 41.4, 1/10 ahead of him. Going to think now starting his lap. No, it's not. He's not yet got there. I thought the McLaren had already found his way round, but we'll go back to Yuno, who's yet to set a time in that Ferrari. Tier 2 driver reserving in Tier 1. Of course, drivers can reserve for Tier 1 if there are seats available. If you definitely fancy yourself with the pace, you can move up. We saw purples there for Sector 2. Not sure if that is actually withstanding, if Yuno has actually just set a fastest Sector 2. He has high downforce, so anyone else, it's more than possible. But fun fact for Yuno, which is an interesting one, which I still question, I don't know how he manages it, drives in first person in the cockpit cam. So how he does that is beyond me. But Yuno gets a respectable 12th. Either way. That's Stozan to the line. P2 last time out in Australia. Expect a good across the line. And he gets 3rd place for now. It's Mercedes in the background of definitely, I think, did improve to 8th. But the track will be ramping up more and more, of course. Drivers will be finding more and more time throughout the track as the grip levels increase. Still sunny, so no rain, of course, but we don't know about the race. I imagine the drivers will know all about that. Do we have anyone finishing laps to the line? Deflink doesn't. Yuno hasn't. Fawaz is on an out lap, of course. I think we're missing some drivers, maybe Penguin. And the only person not to set a time is Calcis. So he's on his out lap. He's trying to fly around the track as quick as possible, so he maybe gets this lap and the extra lap in. So we'll just have to see what he can do. But someone we'll see can do is edging. P4 at the moment with 41.7, 5/10. Sorry. Yeah, 3/10, sorry. My maths is abysmal right now. 3/10 off of P1. And we'll see what this AlphaTauri can do. Navigating Sector 2 as drivers are changing positions still. McLaren find themselves 11-12. Fudge in P10. The grid order did change over on the left-hand side for just a moment as some drivers found themselves to the checker flag. I don't know if Edgin's actually getting a toe hit from an Alpine. It's not Ollie, is it? Who's giving this guy? Who's giving Edgin a toe? It's Fudge. Fudge is on a lap. And Fudge is giving Edgin a toe. If he can get close enough. Fudge, of course, will be wanting to improve his lap. Nice and early on the power. So we'll see what this Alpine can do. The blue and pink French car down the powerful back straight with Edgin beaming down on that gearbox. Whatever time Fudge is going to do, you're going to feel that Edgin is going to improve on it with this slipstream down the back straight into the bus stop chicane. The difficult right and left hander, easy to lose so much time if you don't take it well, and Edgin boxes. And Fudge sets P6. Edgin might have abandoned his lap, might have invalidated, or maybe he just was on an in lap and we were too ignorant to notice. Farwaz now completing a lap. He's starting a lap. I believe. He may have just finished a lap actually. So Farwaz down in 17th. He can't improve. 42.7. 4 minutes left in the session. Of course, is that RD Gamer coming to the line for an out lap though, so he won't be setting a time just yet. Penguin, however, I believe is completing a lap. He will be boxing. Drivers peeling into the pits, of course. And we got some drivers actually coming in now. Pockets on an out lap. The McLaren was in tow, which goes into the pits. Pockets down in 18th. He'll want to improve. Calces, of course, invalidated. If he looks after himself, he might be able to go again. Or he can box, of course. The drivers struggling in the conditions, but we are down to the last few minutes. So anyone who's out on track right now might be setting their last laps. Jagu in P1, currently on an out lap to try and improve. MKL only a 10th behind, so it's too close for him to get comfortable at the moment. Stozan in 3rd, Edge in 4th, Matthias in 5th, Ollie, Fudge, Kiko. Igor is actually pushed down as Burge finds himself in 5th with an impressive lap of 41.7. So Igor down into 10th. Mercedes of Deathlink in 11th. But everything else can change, of course. These are only provisional times until everyone completes their final laps. There's Fudge in the pit. So yeah, Fudge is coming in. His teammates on a lap. Ollie comes in as well. And we'll be starting a lap. So I think we have drivers who are flying through yellows for an Aston Martin. Fawaz either low fuel or he is just taking his time. But you might feel that he's going again, in fact. So drivers who are on a lap is the Ferrari of Pockets. He'll be the first one to break the beam in his final moments of qualifying. He won't be able to go again unless he gets around fast enough. So we'll see how he handles this chicane. He will have enough for a cooldown lap, so whatever he does now, it might be his best with the tyres he's got. He does improve, but he's still in 19th. He's going to have to look after these tyres now. Nurse the ERS back up to full battery, and maybe he can go again. If he pits, there's no point really pitting. He may as well take what he has got. Interesting order. Yoinks is actually on an out lap, but AIM has gone through anyway, so AIM can't benefit a tow, of course, at all. McLaren flying round. Don't think there's anyone on a hot lap. There is an Alfa Romeo flying through in Sector 3. Not of Stozan, but of Burge. Burge, who will be boxing nonetheless anyway. So we'll go back on board with AIM, who I think is now actually on a brilliant flying lap. We'll see if he can set a respectable time, get his McLaren up into the top 10s maybe. Long flat out left-hander through there into the bus stop chicane, braking heavy, riding a bit of the curve, just kissing it, and then really taking the left one to try and just minimize the distance. A little bit of traction lost on that curve, but he finds himself in P3. That's a brilliant lap. We'll see if he gives his teammate a tow at all. Scrub, I think, is coming to the line. The Scrub's invalidated, so I believe it was possibly Deathlink who will be starting a lap, so he will be beginning his lap now. Anyone to the line? Hasses are coming to the line. MKL is starting a lap. Calces, of course, who is now starting a lap as well. So drivers will be flying through. AIM didn't give his teammate a tow down the back straight. So Yoinks will have to do what he can do with what he's got in his bank. But drivers are now coming to the line. Mathis is on the outlap. Kiko is starting to the lap. I think he just about made the beam. 10 seconds left, so any drivers who are not getting to the line won't be able to go. Stosan will be finishing his lap. He gains a 10th to take provisional pole position. Brilliant lap by Stosan. There's a Red Bull now, I think, on a flying lap. Is that Matthias? It is. Alfa Romeo should peel over to the right side. It does. He's done his job. He's got provisional pole, but it's now up to anyone to respond. What can they do? Edging down the back straight. I believe he is going to be the first one now in this final moments to set a time. What can he do? Can he respond? P5 right now for Edging to the line. DRS open, and he finds himself in P2. It's not enough. It's not enough. 20 thousandths of a second separate him from P1. It wasn't enough. Igor to the line. He's invalidated. He can't improve at all. Yoinks, I think, now to the line. What can he do? Can he improve? He is improving slightly. It's not enough. It's 13th. There's a Ferrari to the line as well. Oh, Yuno doesn't improve. But the Hasses are flying through. MKL, who did invalidate, it seems. So he will be peeling into the pit box. Calces, I think, is setting a time, and he sets provisional pole! Way to leave it to last minute! Calces, without a time on the board, waits until the very last lap, and he grabs himself provisional pole position. But there is a Ferrari of pockets, and people want to leave it last minute. Is he improving? He is improving it, but it won't be enough. There's barely a 10th on the board. But it's enough for 18th. Red Bull's coming through. Matthias does have a lap to put in. He's 3 tenths up. P8 at the moment for Red Bull. He's in P4. Kiko in 11th. I don't think there's many more drivers to set a lap. Oddie Gamer will actually find his way to the line, but this looks like it was a cooldown lap. And that is everyone. Calces leaving it to the very last minute for a nearly 41 flat. Brilliant lap by him. It's never over until it's over, of course. Calces really showing that there. Stosan, P2, who finished P2 around Australia. Edgin, P3, Matthias, Jagu, MKL, Aim, Burge, Ollie, and Fudge wrap up your top 10 with Kiko, Igor, Deathlink, Yoinks in 14th, Oddie Gamer 15th, Penguin, the Ferrari pair of Uno and Pocket 17th and 18th, and Scrub 19th, along with Farwaz, who is the back of the grid. Brilliant qualifying, many drivers, I think, giving plenty of respect to each other. So we'll see what the race holds. As you can see, the times and your race order here as well. So only a couple of teams, I think, in order. Juno and Pockets, Ferrari pair in 17th, 18th. Ollie and Fudge in 9th and 10th. So they are in a decent position to hold onto that points position. Any other drivers close together, I don't think we'll see. Maybe Calcis and MKL can work together as the Haas pair. They're in a decent position of 1st and 6th. MKL will probably have a good response off the line. It all depends on the conditions. Rain will be the great equalizer, so we'll see what happens here. But brilliant lap, definitely by Calcis. Out of nowhere, struggling on the edge of the grip. A little bit cloudy, it seems, for Spa, but it's nice and sunny, so I don't believe we will be seeing any rain. Alessandro saying, if Canada is going to be rainy, I will lose my mind. I think we're 4 for 4 right now for Tier 2. Tier 2, I think, has rained. Yeah, 4 for 4. It was Qatar. Yeah, Qatar, Japan, Australia, and then we had Spa rain as well. I think Yuno somewhere is losing his mind being the lobby host. Need a different host for Tier 2. I'm impartial. I've got the commentators box at the moment. I have to be impartial. But we will see what order people can find themselves in, of course. What I think was shocking. I mean, to be fair, some drivers did DNF last time out in Australia. We actually lost 5 drivers, I believe. Scrub, Alicento, Jojo, who's not racing, Sams and Ames. The rest finished. Yeah, it was only 5 that we lost, unfortunately. But it has set up nicely in terms of constructors. Of course, MKL, Stosan, and Jagu in that order, your top 3. Igor close behind, who got 4th. Edging, of course. That's a standard points finish. But the team's constructors, Haas with a healthy 29 points. Williams, 21 points. Alfa Romeo, 18. Then, I think Aston Martin are actually equal on points to AlphaTauri on 12. Can't remember where the rest... Oh, it might just be Mercedes and Red Bull, I think, who are the last people with points. But the formation lap is underway. Calcis, who finds himself, maybe not surprising, P1. If he was sending it around the circuit with a healthy amount of pace, he probably knew what he had. He just couldn't put it into execution. What I'll quickly do, actually, while we have the time, is I will check to see if I can mess around with the camera. Although I think it is camera settings, so I think I've missed the boat. I needed to set it up before the race. And I realised as well, I raced Tier 2 yesterday with max graphics in the rain. And that was terrible. Show us the tyres, my man. This button here. You want this one, Kizza. You want me to show you the tyres? What's it worth to you? What's it worth to you? Like, don't maybe come over there. Look. Anyone, I mean, to be fair, anyone could be watching this stream. But what's it worth to you? Just pondering who is soft and who is hard. Well, I'll tell you then who has a hard on. Edgin has a hard on. Matthias has a hard on. These two have only the 2 people who have gone hard. Jagu's gone soft, along with Fudge, Deathlink, Arnie Gamer, and Pockets, with the rest having mediums. So we will see. It's a mixed strategy. Maybe there's rain up ahead. We're not entirely sure. I'm not entirely sure. I am only hearing from anyone else. I can't see the weather. I have a screen in front of me in the comms box. They haven't provided me an umbrella, so if it rains, I am screwed. As drivers now make their way to the grid boxes. And we have Calcis very slowly finding his pit box. I was going to say, if you miss that spot, that's going to be very embarrassing for you. Firewise and Scrub at the back. Matthias missing his pit box. As you see the rest of the drivers forming up, finding their spots here around Spa. Very strong braking point at turn 1. So we will see which drivers fight for their position. Fudge losing out, Scrub losing out on their pit box positions. So we will have 5 red lights that will be on the way. Here we go. 2, 3, 4, 5 lights. And we are underway at the Spa Grand Prix. Calcis with a terrible getaway. Edge is sending it down the inside. Stosan's challenging there as well. And Calcis looks like he is going to hold on to that position. Edge actually dropping back a little bit. Calcis with a terrible getaway somehow held onto it. Definitely has climbed up the order a few places as well. Is anyone going to try it? No one dares go side by side through Eau Rouge. Tier 1, maybe drivers have a bit more sense of course. But is anyone I got a move here? Edgin maybe down the outside. Stozan trying it actually on the inside of Calcis and Racely being challenged for immediately. Positions changing here. Fudge side by side with Aim, the Alpine on the inside. Can he hold it? Down into the braking zone. The long right-hander where it's easy to lose your grip. And looks like he is just getting the move done. They're side by side still through this. And he does edge out. Jagu dispatching Edgin as... No, sorry, Matthias. The Williams up into P4. Calcis with a terrible getaway has held on to his lead. Somehow, miraculously, he didn't lose out. No idea how the Haas held on to that position. Just must have been well defended. Someone who has lost out, of course. Aim losing out on 6 positions to McLaren, falling way down the order. But at least he is with his teammate now, so they can probably work together. Fudge getting back past Burrs. The Alfa Romeo might be looking at a move back here. Is he going to try it down into the bus stop chicane? Fended off by Fudge. No moves happening there. Williams eyeing up the back of Edgin. Is there going to be a move here? He's just tucking in behind. No overtakes from him. Definitely up into 10th. A great start by that Mercedes. We've got 3 wide here. McLaren with a Red Bull sandwich. Kiko does drop back, but the McLaren's going to have to sort themselves out here. They've gone side by side through a Rouge. The teammates, they've held each other up. They've lost so much time, and now everyone's on the back of them. 4 wide, 3 wide, 4, nearly 5 wide, scrubbling down the back straight. The Williams has involved the 2 Red Bulls, the 2 McLarens. And there's been a bit of contact. Aim held up. Arnie Gamer looking around the inside now of that chicane. And that is terrible from the McLaren, side by side through Eau Rouge. Through Radion as well, sorry. And they've completely lost out. Kiko, optimistic, lost out on the position, I think, earlier. Held his foot to the floor all the way, slipstreamed up the chicane uphill and said, thank you very much, I'll take that gap. And he has flown through that Red Bull. Brilliant bit of overtaking by him. And up ahead, drivers forming a bit more of a sensible formation here. Not too many positions being fought for at the moment, but further back, of course, drivers are fighting. I think we've got Igor looking right at the back of Deathlink's gearbox, maybe sizing up a move here. Does he have enough slipstream to actually make the move? He doesn't, but Ollie, I think, down the inside, maybe on the Alfa Romeo. Slots in behind, doesn't try to make the overtake. Bit too early, the car's a bit too heavy. Maybe the tyres haven't fully warmed up, so not too much overtaking can be done there. Stozan actually got the race lead. Completely missed that overtake. The battle way back there for Eau Rouge was too exciting. Stozan setting a fastest lap and now has race lead of this race. But the McLarens, yeah, they were questionable. Decided to go side by side through there. DRS is online. First looking at the back of that Red Bull gearbox of Matthias. See if he can make a move stick. He can't. Further back, I think we've got Farwaz defending Note, overtaking down the inside of AIM. The Aston Martin is through. A reserve driver for McLaren, sending it on his team principal. And sending a message, I'm sure, as well. Calcis leading the race then. I don't believe anyone. I think maybe actually Jagu was looking at a move there. But we are going to see at the front, definitely drivers being a bit more sensible. No one will be lunging in, I think, immediately. It's a long race. 22 laps around Spa. It's a long, long race when you're looking at 150, 147 lap times. We'll see if any underfueled as well. If any have differences in setups, you can lose it all in Sector 2. But as long as you've got the overtaking power, you won't mind too much. Dipping a wheel in the grass was Edge and trying to push his AlphaTauri round to the corner. Looking down the inside was Stozan on Calcis. Little bit of contact there, which only pushes Calcis through the corner. He won't be happy about it, though. The car will be unsettled. Little bit of a wiggle further back by AlphaTauri. And there's a bit of contact, I think. Definitely maybe struggling on the exit. Igor is through to P10. And Kiko looking down the inside, but only looking as definitely shut the door. Igor struggling as he pushes that car through turn 1. Back as well, we do have RD Gamer sizing up this move on AIM. Slipstream, powerful enough through Eau Rouge. Side by side as well, the AlphaTauri on the exit of it. DRS is going to be open. The McLaren will be a sitting duck as he's overtaken once, twice by Penguin and RD Gamer. As well, nearly close enough to make a move himself. But you have to settle in for being behind AIM. AIM losing out on 10 positions. Brutal for the McLaren driver, who's now doing heavy defending from Juno, who's looking around the inside now of this corner down into the left-hander, and AIM squeezes him out well enough there. So we will hold on to 17th, but long race. Plenty of positions that could be gained so far. Red Bull, Kiko eyeing up the back of Deathlink. Kiko, who was unleashed by the McLarens, going side by side through Eau Rouge, which I think has actually costed them way heavily than they think. Little bit of contact, definitely forced out wide. Kiko forcing himself through. Definitely might be a bit hard done by. Not sure how much you can fight that if it was fair racing. Drivers often told to sort themselves out on the track before they go to... well, it's after the race where it goes to the stewards anyway. But we will see a little bit of network lag there. As definitely is actually boxing. He might have got damage there. Or maybe 5 laps on the softs. He's decided that that is a bit too much for him. We'll see what he goes on to. There is a wing change at all for him. And the hards are coming out. Definitely not thinking there's going to be a safety car, so he will be settling with that now. As you know, on board with that Ferrari, the McLaren, please don't go 3 wide through here. We've seen that bad enough sometimes. As you know, has dispatched Scrub and Aim into one corner. And we have yellows as Penguin is rounded Eau Rouge into the barriers. And I think he's missing an end plate on the outside of that wing. I'm not entirely sure. No safety car, of course. The AlphaTauri dropping right down the order, and that is unfortunate. He was lucky that he was out the way, that there was no contact and no further damage done to that car. So we'll see how that battle goes further back as well. But one battle is happening here. I think Burge is looking back on Fudge. If he is eyeing up any move that he can get done there, maybe down the inside. We'll probably wait and see. Maybe it'll happen on the back straight. The little pockets of space now forming. The first train are top 6. Stosa and Calcis, Jagu, Edge and MKR Mafius all driving away, but only the Haas pair, the only teammates in that train. Stosan still holding on to the race lead for now. As Calcis, who did qualify pole after leaving it to the last minute, is keeping Stosan honest. But Stosan did finish second place ahead of Jagu. Jagu was third in Australia. So he knows what he needs to do to get a good result. We maybe had moved back then, not entirely sure. If anyone positions changed, I must have just missed it. But Kiko is just missing out on that 10th, that points paying position. And very wide by Yoinks, who does hold on to it. Easy to lose your grip out there and find the barrier. Maybe dirty air. Don't think there was any contact at all. Speaking of as well, Scrubs a sitting duck as Aim finds his way back through. There are position changes up ahead. Calcis is now in third. So Jagu has got through. So the Haas drivers are now driving together. Must have happened in Sector 2. There must have been a mistake. But this is just reminiscent of Australia again. You just move them both up one position. Jagu hunting down Stozan. So we'll see if he can get a good move here at all. Down into the back straight. Did he get a good enough exit? Stozan is driving away with it, I believe. The slipstream now just helping him slightly, but it won't be enough at all. We won't see any moves into the bus stop chicane there. Edgin has fallen back a little bit, a few positions. And he is just towing along Burge. So he is now the conductor of this DRS train. Further back than he would like. Deathlink has now unfortunately picked up a time penalty. Those hards probably not performing as well as he wants. I wouldn't know when he first got his track limit infractions, of course, unfortunately. But we are seeing a number of trains now forming. Drivers struggling, it seems, on exit to follow through. We'll see on this DRS straight. Does Stozan have any answer? Can he defend against Jagu? The Williams powering through round the outside of the back straight. Everyone else too far back to make a move stick at all here, unfortunately for them. But Kiko trying his best, but the DRS is too strong. Fawaz goes through. We're going to see a lot of leapfrogging, of course, a long DRS straight down the back there, especially after a long run up through Eau Rouge. And very closely saved by Yoinks, who's struggling on this medium tyre. Struggled through Eau Rouge a few laps ago, and now struggling through Sector 2. He might want to get off these very soon and get onto the hards. So we'll see what he decides to do there. Calzas eyeing up the back of Stozan. The problem is when you're a DRS train, especially on a high-speed circuit, it's very hard to overtake the car in front when they've got DRS. So you might need to force your way through in Sector 2. We'll see if any of them dump the battery down the back straight as well. Ollie, who was close earlier, Calces, who is now actually dispatched Jagu. MKL, who's dispatched Jagu as well. Terrible camera angle. Sure, Jagu must have made a mistake, but the Haas pair are up to 2 and 3, and Jagu is boxing, deciding that the softs have had enough punishment, that they won't go any further, that they need to be taken off. He's probably going to go on to the hards for him. Stozan leading the race. Haas pairing to 2 and 3 at the moment. And we're seeing Jagu now coming in, and the mediums going on, I think, was it there? It is the mediums. The Williams going for the mediums, believing they can go the rest of the distance for him. Not the hard compound tyre. Hard compound tyre must be too much, too slow to bear. Does Haas have the move? It doesn't. Stozan will hold on to the race lead. But someone who might be struggling, Scrub, who is just eyeing up that for McLaren, who's gaining and gaining. Defending down to the inside goes Scrub. And they are going to be side by side into the chicane. Squeezing out a little bit on the Mercedes. Competative McLaren is still there. Forced out wide. And AIM just holds onto it. Nice bit of side by side racing through there from them both. But AIM is not letting it go. Does he get switched back there at all? He doesn't. And Scrub holds on to that position. AIM down the inside. Sending it into the left-hander, sorry. Out of no name, he got a fantastic exit to be able to do that there. But this squabbling is just bringing the Ferrari pair of pockets into it. So we'll see how their battle unfolds. But Matthias really gaining now. MKL dropping out of DRS range of Stozan. Stozan either burning the battery or just burning